What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. Ready to Love reunion recap review. So it's like, it's a show. I think it's the third season, where you hook up single couples and you narrow it down to people to a few couples who leave the show who are quote unquote ready to be in love or ready to have relationships. And this season was different because the couple that was probably the most compatible or had the most spark on camera, one of their family members died and they had to leave the show. So the guy subsequently left to be with her, but so that kind of got in the way of the quote unquote relationship growing. But ironically, when you watch the show or when you watch the recap, me and my lady were talking about it. It was interesting because, in a sense, it did look like the men were more ready for relationships than the ladies were, because the guys' red flags weren't as high as the ladies' red flags. And it made you, even if you look at it, it'll make you have the conversation about when people say that there are not enough good men. You can make the argument that if this is a snapshot of our dating and mating aspect, it might be there are not enough good women, or it might be far more even than people assume because of the red flags. Because the guys who needed to really do some work on themselves, they were actually open to it. The ladies who had red flags, they were more unapologetic about their red flags, and unapologetic in the sense of it might cause a problem, in meeting somebody. It might cause a problem in creating a relationship or creating a bond with somebody. It might just cause a big problem. And the funny part about it is, to me, that is pretty much who we are. We're conducting ourselves like grown children. And, and we're at that mix where you got a grown person who has a crush on or a relationship with a grown child, or is attracted to a grown child. And then you got people who can't take lust away from love, right? So you choose somebody that you lust over somebody that would probably love you. And that happened on the show also, where you pick somebody that you thought was fine over somebody that was really good to you, and it came back to bite you in the butt. And then it comes back, maybe I should have chose this other person. And to me, this is a problem, because it highlights the bad decision making, and it highlights how we want to run, do too much. Somebody was pregnant, somebody, when they got to the show, somebody got somebody pregnant before they got to the show. You had single parents, you had baby daddies, you had people fall in love just to fall out of love immediately after the show is over. So you just doing it for the camera, or you just doing it to put out a good look of yourself. And then you had people who weren't there to love, but they were ready to quote unquote win, and because they were there to compete and win the game and not a relationship, they put themselves in a very awkward position as far as how they looked to the world. And this was part 2. So this was made interesting because you could see, I'm not too sure some of the people will see themselves the same when they see themselves on TV. But and they could say it's editing or whatever, because it is editing sometimes, but sometimes this is how you are. But that's my thoughts. Like, share, subscribe, and try and catch you on the next one. Peace.